Hi, this is Jan Kabili for Photo Tools Weekly. This week, I'll share a technique for freeing up space on your phone using Google Photos. If you shoot a lot of photos and videos with your phone, at some point you're going to hit the wall if you haven't already when it comes to the number of photos and videos you can keep on your phone. This is especially true if you're frugal and you didn't buy a phone with lots of memory. Until now, there hasn't been a great solution for this problem, short of deleting photos altogether, doing a lot of juggling back and forth to your computer, or hoping for an online backup that offers enough storage but doesn't cost too much. The good news is that Google Photos, with its new free unlimited backup and storage option, offers a potential solution. It's not without trade-offs, as I'll explain, but if you shoot mostly casual personal photos with your phone, as many of us do, it will probably serve your needs. In this movie, I'll show you how this all works in Google Photos app on my iPhone. If you use Google Photos on an Android device, some of the controls I'll show you here are slightly different, but the ideas still apply. I'll start by tapping the Google Photos app on my phone to open it. The app is displaying all the photos and videos that are in my Google Photos library, which is located in the cloud on Google's servers. The library in the cloud includes, among other items, automatic backup copies of all the photos and videos that are here locally on this phone. The local copies, the ones taking up space on my phone, are the originals that I shot with the phone or they're images that I downloaded to the phone from messages, emails, or social media. My goal is to remove the local copies of these photos to free up space on the phone, but still have access on this phone to the copies that are in my library in the cloud. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make sure that the originals that I want to remove from this phone really are backed up to the Google Photos library. I'll do that in a web browser on my computer because I can see and work with my Google Photos library not only from the Google Photos app here and on my tablet too, but also from a web browser. So I'll switch to a web browser on my computer for a minute to confirm that my photos are backed up to the library. In the web browser, I've navigated to photos.google.com and signed in with the same Google account that I use on my mobile devices. Here again is the same Google Photos library that we saw on the phone, including backups of photos from my phone. Up here at the top, I can see the photos that I plan on deleting from the phone. So I know that I'll have these backups even after I delete the local copies from my phone. However, there's something important to understand about the backup copies in your library. The compression and size of these backed up copies depends on which Google backup plan you chose in the Google Photos app on your phone. So let's switch back to the phone so I can show you those options. Back on the phone, I'll tap the menu icon on the top left to open this sliding menu bar. There I'll tap Settings and Backup and Sync. When I first installed the Google Photos app on this phone, I turned on the Backup and Sync option. That caused the app to back up all the photos and videos that were on the phone at that time to my library in the cloud. In addition, as long as I leave this switch on, the app will automatically back up each photo and video that I capture with this phone, or that I download to this phone in the future, without me having to think about it, which I think is a great feature. I'll tap another setting here, Upload Size. This setting affects the quality of your backups in the cloud, so you want to be sure that you're satisfied with that quality before you go ahead and delete local originals from your phone. If you choose high quality, as I did, you can back up an unlimited number of photos and videos to your Google Photos library in the cloud at absolutely no cost. However, there are some trade-offs with the high-quality option that you should be aware of. First, if any of your photos is larger than 16 megapixels, Google will downsize its backup to 16 megapixels. And if any video is larger than 1080p, like a 4K video, Google will re-encode its backup as 1080p. Now, these size limitations aren't a problem if you're using an iPhone, because the photos and videos a current iPhone can capture are below those numbers. Another trade-off of choosing high quality is that all your backed up items will be compressed. However, Google maintains that its compression algorithm has little effect on visual quality unless you plan to make really big prints from your backed up photos. So if that's not something you do with photos you shoot with your phone, you may be okay with this trade-off, but the choice, of course, is up to you. The other option here, the original option, does not compress or downsize your backed up photos and videos. So the backups in your Google Photos library in the cloud will be the same as the local originals on your phone. But once you hit your storage limit with the original option, which is currently 15 gigabytes for all your Google content, not just your Google Photos, then you have to pay for additional storage. So I've gone here with high quality, free unlimited storage, but you go ahead and choose the option that you like best. Once you've done that, you can feel comfortable deleting the local copies of your phone because you're happy with the quality of the backups, and you know you'll still be able to view, share, and even edit the backups in your library right from here on the phone in your Google Photos app. I'm going to back out of the settings by tapping the back arrow a couple of times. So I can go ahead and show you how to delete local photos and videos from an iPhone while protecting the backups in the Google Photos library. Now you can do this on an Android phone too, but the features on an Android phone look slightly different, so you may want to double-check Google Photos Help for the Android phone instructions. I'm going to scroll to some photos that I want to delete from this phone. I'll select a photo by touching and holding. If I want to add more photos to this selection, I can touch and hold other photos, or if I want to select a lot of adjacent photos at once, I can touch and hold and then keep my finger down and drag over to other photos. If I want to remove photos from the selection, I'll tap those photos. So I've got 4 photos selected that I want to delete from this device. Now this is important. After selecting the photos to remove, do not tap the trash icon at the top of the screen, even though it may seem logical. If you do tap the trash icon, you'll delete these photos not only from your phone, but also from your Google Photos library everywhere. But if you do tap the trash icon by mistake, it's not the end of the world because you still have 60 days to restore the trashed photos from the trash can. And you can access that trash can from the sliding menu on the left side of the Google Photos app. So I'm not tapping the trash can. Instead, I'm looking for the Delete from Device command. And again, on an Android device, this may be in a different place. But here on the iPhone, to access Delete from Device, I'll tap the icon with the 3 circles, the Options icon. And then at the bottom of the screen, I'll tap Delete Device Copies for. At the prompt asking if I want to allow Google Photos to delete these 4 photos, I'll tap Delete. And at the bottom of the screen, Google is telling me that I've deleted device copies. And that means I've deleted copies of these photos from this device, this phone, but I haven't deleted them from my Google Photos library. But guess what? These 4 photos really aren't yet deleted from my phone. There's one more thing I have to do to finally delete them from the phone to free up the space that I'm after, and that is to delete them from the Apple Photos app too. So I'll push the Home button on my phone, and then on my home screen, I'll tap the Apple Photos app, which of course is a separate app from the Google Photos app, and in the Apple Photos app, I'll tap Albums. Now, of course, if you're on an Android phone, you're not in the Apple Photos app. Here in the albums, I'm looking for the recently deleted album. I'll tap that album. I'll scroll up to the top, and there you can see the 4 photos that I'd marked for deletion. And they're each marked 30 days. And that means if I do nothing else to these photos, they'll stay here in the Apple Photos recently deleted album for 30 more days, and then they'll be automatically deleted. But I want to free up space now. So what I want to do is delete them permanently from the Apple Photos app too. So I'll tap Select at the top right of the screen. I'll tap on each of those 4 photos, and then I'll tap Delete at the bottom left of the screen, and I'll tap Delete 4 photos. So now those 4 photos are gone from here in the Apple Photos app. Let's go back to the Google Photos app. I'll push the Home button on my phone, I'll tap the Google Photos app on my home screen, and notice that those 4 photos, the red and white shuttered photos and a couple of others that I shot in Amsterdam, are still here in my Google Photos app. And that's because they're still in my Google Photos library, and I can still do anything to them that I could do to any photo in the Google Photos library, even though they're not physically on this phone. I could view these photos, I could share them, I could even edit them, with those edits rippling back to show up in Google Photos on the web and on all my devices on which I've installed the Google Photos app. So that's the technique. Now, before I go, there's one more wrinkle I'll mention. If you're on an Android device and you have chosen the original rather than the high-quality upload size setting in Google Photos app settings, there may be a way for you to delete photos and videos from your mobile device in batches, which would be less tedious and less manual. Some Android users have reported that as they near the 15 gigabyte quota that they're allotted with the original upload size setting, they've gotten a message in Google Photos app offering to free up space on the phone by deleting a batch of photos and videos from the phone all at once with a single tap. And that would be a lot simpler, but it's not something that I've seen personally on my iOS phone, so I can only report it secondhand. So that's how to use Google Photos to free up space on your phone, but still have access to all your photos and videos for viewing, sharing, and editing on your phone in the Google Photos app.